Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey, the regular season is finally here. Thank goodness. Welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on WKYC. I'm Jay Crawford. Over the next 30 minutes, much Browns talk, including my favorite segment of all time. We tell you who wins the game before it's played in our pre-written headlines. Bull.
I'm Adam the Bull, and 2 years ago when Joe Flacco was here, he had Amari Cooper. Amari is gone. In fact, he retired yesterday. In his place, Jerry Jeudy. Will he be as effective as Cooper was? We'll get into that today. G.
I'm G. Bush, leader of the Kool-Aid Mafia, and I'm going to tell you what, if the Browns are going to get a win, it's going to be in the trenches. We'll talk about the trench battle, and will Myles Garrett dominate up front? Jason.
I'm Jason Lloyd. Carson Schwesinger's stock is taking off like American Eagles. Are we putting too much on the rookie? We're going to talk about it. Mike.
Plus, Joe Flacco is back. We know the success he had in 2023, and a lot of that was predicated off the play-action passing game. But without Quinshon Judkins in the fold, will the Bengals respect the running game of Dylan Sampson and Jerome Ford? And how will that impact Flacco's performance in Week 1? And that's where we're going to start today, guys. If you dive back into those 2023 numbers and look at the splits between Joe Flacco when he had play action versus when he didn't, it's quite drastic. 33% of his drop-back attempts included play action during his stretch with the Browns. On those attempts, he threw for 857 yards, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and had a PFF grade of 87.1. On non-play action passes, 2/3 of his attempts, he threw for fewer yards, fewer touchdowns, more picks, and a 24-point lower PFF grade. So, guys, I want to ask you, can Joe Flacco thrive in this Browns offense without the play-action game, and will the Bengals even respect the Browns' running potential without a true bell cow back?
Now, he needs the play action, but there's no reason to believe they wouldn't use it as much as they did then. The Browns didn't have a good back then either. Who was their back that was so good? Nick Chubb was hurt. So I think there's a misnomer, guys, that you need a good running game to have a good play-action game. That's not the case. A successful play-action quarterback and a successful use of play-action, to me, has way more to do with your ability to get the other team to believe you're handing the ball more than the actual quality of the running back. I thought Baker Mayfield, his time here, I thought that was actually his best skill. He was great at making that fake on the play action. That's what makes the play action work, not necessarily how good the running back is.
This is a staple to Kevin's offense and what he likes to run, what they're getting back to running, the wide zone run scheme and play action pass. And, you know, go back to when he first sat down with Deshaun, one of the things he told Deshaun was you can carry out your ball fakes a little bit better, be a little bit cleaner on some of that. This is a huge part of what Kevin wants to do, mostly because of what the numbers that you see there. So, yeah, it's the threat of the run more than the actual run itself, and I agree with Bull. I think Joe is really, really good at this. This is one of the strengths of his that really plays right into what the Browns want to do. I think it's a big part of why there's synergy between Flacco and the Browns, and regardless if it's Jerome Ford or Dylan Sampson or who it is back there, eventually I do think it'll be Quinshon Judkins. It's Joe's ability with the ball fakes, freezing a defense for that half second that makes us so effective. I think they'll be fine.
Down and distance is key with play action. A lot of people say it's play action. Okay, well, look, if it's 2nd and 3, play action is devastating. If it's 2nd and 10, no one cares about your play action.
That's true, too. Yeah,
that's true. You're like, whatever. You're going to run for 4 yards? Great. We'll tackle you, and it's 3rd down. So the Cleveland Browns need to be in a manageable down the distance. That means staying ahead of the sticks. That means, playing the field percentage game, because that's what they're going to have to do. I think if they can run the ball effectively, make it manageable where now it's 2nd and manageable where you can run or pass or you could do both, then that's where it's going to be effective. But the Cleveland Browns just can't drop back in this 3rd and long and be and expect to be successful.
Yeah, I agree with just about everything you guys said. I particularly like your comment about down and distance is critical to your success. Yeah, if you're third and long, the play fake is probably your enemy at that point.
Yeah.
Go ahead, fake all you want. We know what you're doing. And if you don't and you surprise us and you hand the ball off, it shocks the world, number one, but it's not going to get 8 or 9 yards on third down when you need to be throwing the football. The amazing thing to me is about Joe Flacco is, I think you're right about Baker. That was one of Baker's strengths, was his ability to hunch and put the football out there and pull it back. Joe is as good. The guy that comes to mind for me is Boomer Esiason. He did it as well as anyone I can ever remember.
Steve DeBerg.
DeBerg was great at it. You got to go way back. Yeah. Most of our audiences did think he was an artist, a singer.
Right.
Honestly, I also think what helps Joe so much, and this is where Baker could have been better, Joe is lethal at the check down passes. The running game for a Joe Flacco-led offense is really like the 4 to 6 yard tight end passes that he is so good at checking down to. He's very, very accurate in those situations. You don't tend to get a ton of interceptions on those throws. It's his downfield throws that tend to get picked off. So one small discrepancy that I would point out, Bull, although I don't think that it's predicated on how good your running back is. I do think if your running back is better, it just makes play action even that more valuable.
Sure, but ultimately...
But it's not the driving factor
right.
of success.
And ultimately, the question is, do you get the linebackers? Do you get
to freeze.
To freeze for that second?
That's it.
And usually, if you do the fake well, even if they rationally know that back's not that good, all you need is that half a second to make the difference.
Right. Now, the reason I would say that it does play in is if it's 3rd and 4...
Sure,
or
absolutely.
3rd and 5, again, going to the down and distance thing, Nick Chubb is much more likely to run for that 5 yards than Jerome Ford is.
Absolutely, yes.
So I do think there's just a little bit more attention paid to that run fake when there's a back there that can burn you and can keep the sticks moving. All right.
Guys, the next topic we want to hit on is something we touched a little bit on our YouTube show. We talked about how Amari Cooper and Joe Flacco connected at the end of the season and had tremendous success in their 4 regular season games together. You can see the numbers on the screen here. 25 catches, 485 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Amari Cooper just retired, meaning it could be time for Jerry Jeudy to step into that role. G. Bush, do you think Jerry Jeudy can become Joe Flacco's 2025 version of Amari Cooper as a safety blanket and repeat and build on his impressive 2024 season?
Well, no disrespect to Amari Cooper. I'm expecting more from Jerry Jeudy. I need to see more. One of the things that we look at is the touchdowns with Amari Cooper, and we talked about it in the YouTube show. A lot of teams nowadays is, bend but don't break. Jason always talks about, hey, you can get all the yards you want in between these 20s, but when it comes to the red zone, we want to make you kick these field goals. So it's imperative that if you are a receiver, you need, when you catch the ball, especially when you're the number 1 receiver, you need to be a threat to score because it's a difference between 7 and 3. So for me, Jerry Jeudy has more explosiveness. Amari Cooper was a savvy route runner, but when it comes to breakaway type game plays, I expect more out of Jerry Jeudy. So no disrespect, Amari Cooper had a nice career, but the Browns view Jerry Jeudy as somebody who has a little more explosive ability, and I think that they need him to perform at a higher level if they want to win the games that they want to win this year.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything that you said. With Jeudy, when he's had capable quarterback play, he's been able to put up big numbers. Now the question is, will Joe be a capable quarterback? We want to cling to the 5 games of 2 years ago. If Joe can be that guy, Jerry can put up the numbers, but at the same time, how long is Joe Flacco going to be the quarterback of this team? I don't think it's going to be 17 games. I don't think it's going to be 8 or 10 games. I think it'll be less than that. So it'll be really curious to see. Right now, Joe Flacco can make Jerry Jeudy better, but 2 months from now, if Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders is starting quarterback, can Jerry Jeudy make a rookie quarterback better? That'll be the key to me.
I think one of the crazy things about this question is, under Joe Flacco, Amari Cooper looked the best I'd ever seen him look, and David Njoku looked the best I'd ever seen him look. And despite the fact that I sat here after the 23 season and advocated, in fact, almost begged the Browns to bring him back for 24, they didn't. and they instead bring him back a year later. Joe Flacco makes good guys look even better. He makes average guys look above average. I have every expectation that Jerry Jeudy will put up numbers that we haven't seen him put up in a Browns uniform yet. And I also think that we're going to see a return of David Njoku. What happened to Njoku when Flacco flew the coop?
Not great.
He had the rebound. He rebounded back to what he was before Flacco got here. There's something about Flacco and Njoku's relationship that makes me smile.
Yeah.
The video where he was on the legs on the bench and they were kicking their legs up. I thought I was looking at 2 7-year-olds. and you know what? We need more of that. We need more fun and less business in the game.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to do that. It has to happen organically. But I think that organically, Flacco and Njoku have a connection. So, yeah, I do think that Jeudy can become the 25 version of Cooper in 23. But more importantly, and I think even bigger, I think Njoku can return to a Pro Bowl level.
Jason said before that we're making too much out of the 23 season, and I agree. I don't. To me, Joe Flacco, the numbers that Amari Cooper and David Njoku put up in the stretch with him in 23, if anything, first, I don't think he really made them better. He was just a good quarterback for 4 games, and every other quarterback they played with here stunk. So I don't know if they were any better. They just were able to get the ball more with him.
Did either of them ever have a 5-game stretch where they looked better?
In their careers?
Yeah.
Not Njoku. I'm probably Cooper has. I'm not sure.
I don't know that he did.
But I'm just saying he got more opportunity. But you said that Flacco makes guys better. Give me another example besides those 2 guys in the last decade.
I'm just going to give you that example because those are the most recent. Those are the ones that are.
But it's not the most recent. Last year, he didn't make anybody better.
Well, who was his best receiver last year on the Colts?
Better.
I don't even know.
Good receiver. Michael Pittman's very good.
Didn't watch much of them, but I wasn't impressed with Flacco when I saw him.
Right.
But
that's
I
what I'm
also
saying.
think that the reason Flacco had so much success was because Kevin Stefanski looked at him and said, "I know what you do well. I'm going to capitalize on what you do well, and that's the hand I'm going to give you."
And maybe he just had success because he was completely fresh, had sat out the whole year.
He had.
And he played 4 games against bad teams. And
Well, to that, I would counter and say, well, maybe this year he's going to have success because he knows the playbook a year better, and he's been in training camp.
He might. I would just say that, like, I don't.
The beauty of it is we find out.
I just don't
Sunday.
buy the general philosophy that he makes guys better.
Well,
I don't see that.
The beauty of this is we'll find out.
He'll have
starting
that
Sunday.
opportunity.
We
yes.
will find out.
Yeah.
So.
All right, guys, third topic of today's A Block involves a rookie on the Browns. Bubba Ventrone, the team special coordinator, was asked about Carson Schwesinger, and he put a pretty lofty comparison out there for him. Bubba Ventrone said, quote, "I don't like to compare guys like that. I mean, he's super instinctive. I mean, to me, a guy that stands out, and maybe this is too much, is like Luke Kuechly, a guy like that. Not just an instinctive player, not to stereotype them, but you know. Guys, are we putting too much on Carson Schwesinger, putting too much expectations out of the gate for the rookie linebacker who'll be wearing the green dot for the Browns on Sunday?" Jason?
No, what expectations? What if Carson Schwesinger doesn't give a rat's you-know-what about what anybody outside the building is saying? He's not paying attention to what we on UCSS, the knuckleheads on the radio.
Well, this is a coach, though, saying publicly.
I don't know.
So there's a difference.
If you're a winner, if you're a great player, there's not too much pressure to put on a guy.
But pressure comes in different forms.
Yeah.
Fan pressure, media pressure. When a coach utters your name with a guy like Luke Kuechly, that's internal pressure.
Is he going to play worse because he said that?
Bull. I'm not implying he will.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that's pressure that he can't ignore. It's coming from one of his coaches.
I guess. I don't know.
So it's a little different than if I sit here and say, hey, you should be a Pro Bowler.
That's fair. I just don't think – I think it's nonsense. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters.
I think it more as a compliment than pressure.
Yeah,
I don't think he's feeling the pressure. I think he's a really good, young, talented player who just has instincts around the ball. They are really, really high on him. That is not fake. Sometimes some of what you get from the podium is bluster.
Some?
And it's not. Well, I'm being kind.
Yeah.
But with him, I do get the sense that it's genuine, that they really love this guy. They were thrilled to get him at the top of the second round, and they think he's going to be obviously a big piece of this defense going forward. So, no, I don't think there's too much pressure on him at all.
You know what's great about football is, look, you can talk about how much you like somebody all you want. You let us decide how much we like you when you go play tomorrow or on Sunday.
Yeah.
You're going to find out. You know who the Bengals like? Jamar Chase. You know the Bengals like? Joe Burrow. And everybody likes them. So you get to measure your game up against them. Another guy we ain't seen, Mason Graham, we ain't seen him. But is there pressure? I don't think there's no pressure on nobody on the Browns. No one expects the Browns to do anything. Everybody knows that they're like, look, everybody knows that the Cleveland Browns are not picked to win no Super Bowl or no division titles or nothing. So this year, if you're a rookie, you're supposed to go out there and let it roll. Joe Flacco, you ain't playing for the Baltimore Ravens. Listen, go out there and let it all hang out and do what you need to do. But I don't think there's too much pressure on anybody. It's just go out there and play and see what you can do, man.
Yeah, I don't think he'll buckle to this pressure, if you even call it pressure. I think it's a compliment too.
Yeah.
Like when someone who knows the game as well as Bubba does, he's been around it his whole life, when he compares you to someone like Luke Kuechly, you should take off your hat and say, thank you, coach. I only hope to live up to the player Luke Kuechly was. All that being said, we made bold takes on the YouTube show. Here's a bold take for this show. I don't even know if it's bold. He's going to be the Browns' leading tackler. He's going to be their leading tackler in most games, and he will be their leading tackler at the end of the season. The guy just smells the football, and he puts his nose in it. He is, in my view, he's going to end up being one of the best draft picks in Andrew Berry's tenure here.
Well, I mean,
I don't think saying something because he was an early pick.
I mean, the middle linebacker
They often do.
You know, often lead
They
the
often
team.
do. But he's not
Yeah.
going to let us down in that. He will lead the Browns in tackles.
Yeah.
We're going to break. G. Bush, where are football games won?
In the trenches.
Who has the advantage in the trenches when we come back?
Mike, you said
Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. As G. Bush knows, he lived this. Football games are won at the line of scrimmage. Who gets the push? Who has more strength and dominance up front? When the Browns' offense has the ball, their offensive line, we know, they're getting a little long in the tooth, and they had a down year last year. But Cincinnati's D-line, outside of one guy, has some question marks on it. Who has the advantage up front when the Browns are on offense?
Well, look. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think this is one area of opportunity where the Cleveland Browns may have a slight advantage. Now, Trey Hendrickson is I would call him a top 5 pass rusher in the league. He just signed, and I think he's going to always, do his thing. But in terms of the rest of the guys, they got Stewart, who's a young guy, and I'm looking at the level of play that we have from the center to the guards. Now, Ethan Pochich is going to play in this game. He was banged up. He had the knee thing going on. But I think when you talk about it, you got to give Conklin the respect. You got to give Wyatt Teller. Joe Bitonio came back. I think he's in better shape than he was last year. And DeJuan Jones, hopefully he can turn into a top-notch left tackle of the future. But from 1 to 5, if the Cleveland Browns are able to have all those guys healthy, I think they have a slight advantage over the Cincinnati Bengals. And this is one of the areas where I think that they have a slight advantage. But we'll see how they're able to run the football. We talked about the play-action game and see what that's going to do. But if the Cleveland Browns can control the trenches and run the ball and keep Trey Hendrickson off the quarterback and make him get off blocks and double teams and things like that, I think that'll bode well for the Browns offense.
Remember early last season when Deshaun kept getting sacked and everyone kept yelling about how terrible the Browns offensive line was? And then Jameis Winston came in and suddenly the Browns offensive line was so unbelievably better.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a bad offensive line. It's aging. It's getting older. There's no question. But this is still a very good unit. I would give them the advantage. I know Trey Hendrickson's a top player. All the respect in the world to him. Outside of him, I don't know, Bull knows better than I, but I think the Bengals are thin up front outside of Trey. I really like this Browns. When the quarterback is where he's supposed to be, the line knows how to protect and set their protections based on, hey, the quarterback's supposed to be 8 yards. Why is he at 6? Joe Flacco knows where to stand in the pocket. They'll be fine.
All right.
So I would split it up into two kind of sections. I think on the outside, it's pretty close. I might even give the Bengals a little bit of an edge. Trey Hendrickson against DeJuan Jones, to me, is edge Bengals. On the other side,
I think that's big edge Bengals.
Yeah, to me, on the other side, Shamar Stewart's a rookie. I really don't know what to expect from him. He's got a lot of talent, didn't get a lot of sacks, and great athlete. Didn't get a lot of sacks in college. You see, only 1.5 sacks last year. So I don't know, and Conklin's a hell of a, when he's healthy, he's a good right tackle. So overall, it's pretty close. I would say overall on the outside, slight edge Bengals. On the inside, it's not close. The Browns have a massive advantage. The Bengals' defensive tackles are, B.J. Hill is okay. Everybody else in their defensive tackle rotation is either terrible or unproven. So, and the Browns in the middle, the guards and center are good. Borderline great. I would say borderline
if
at this
healthy.
point if they're, just
Poach
because they've got a
is
little
dinged.
older. But yeah, Poach is a little dinged, but he should be fine. So in the middle, huge advantage to the Browns. So overall as a line, I agree, slight edge only because on the outside the Bengals got a little bit of an edge. But on the inside, that's the interesting thing though, is like the Browns have a big edge running the ball. Like the Browns offensive line versus the Bengals D line is a massive edge to the Browns in running the ball. But do they have the backs?
Who's the running back?
Yeah, so that's going to be the interesting thing.
I think we're in agreement. I think the Browns do have a slight edge. I wouldn't say it's a big, huge advantage, but I do think that they are a little more talented overall. Hendrickson obviously is their strong link. What is Dwan Jones going to look like over there? We don't know. We're going to start to find out Sunday. Unfortunately for him, his first test is as tough as a test as he'll face this year. That's quite an assignment. If he can handle Hendrickson and we can throw the ball as well as running, that's how I think we stay in the game. I don't think we're going to win the game, but I do think that if we can run the ball well and keep Joe clean, and that's the biggest if, I think this can be an interesting football game. Speaking of predictions, we're taking a break. When we come back, it's my favorite segment. It's pre-written headlines. We tell you not just who's going to win Sunday, but how they'll win. Stay with us. Pre-written headlines. It's my favorite. I'm excited too because I'm told we have a new graphic template from our director today, but normally our graphic coordinator, Ant, is ready to go. So, Bull, start us off. What's your headline?
So, in the end, call me biased, call me whatever you want. I just, Flack, oh no. The interceptions get them. Close game early. Bengals pull away late. Obviously, the Bengals have to get over this hump of being terrible to start the season. I think the different preseason they had with Joe Burrow actually playing and being healthy is all the difference. In the end, the Bengals have too much firepower offensively, and I see a 31-16 win.
G.
Well, listen, all week I told you what was going down with the Cleveland Browns, and it was looking like a smile to a frown. But guess what? Our Joe is better than yours. Flaccavelli slings the pigskin all over the subpar Bengals defense with a 24-19 W, and the Kool-Aid Mafia has regained its prowess.
For the record, in the YouTube show, G. Bush said
350.
Joe Flacco was going to get sacked, a strip sack, and that was going to be the difference in the game.
I said
But then
he's
low
gonna
key.
Low key.
Yeah,
low key.
Yeah. When he punched low key, I
The
thought,
low
I
key
see it
strip
there.
sack, it hurts him. He throws for 350.
But it doesn't cost them.
Three
Yeah.
touchdowns, one interception, and one strip sack that
Wow,
almost
that's
cost him.
incredible.
But not so fast, my friend.
All right, Jason, you're up.
Okay.
I said last week I was leaning toward the Browns. I really wanted to take the Browns. I just couldn't get there. Chase stabs Browns fans in the heart.
That's great.
Jamar Chase won't jump at the dog pound. He's afraid he's going to get stabbed, but he's going to catch 2 touchdowns. Bengals win 23-14 over the Browns in the opener. I really did want to take the Browns because I don't know when I will now take the Browns in a game. If not now, then when?
Oh, they've got easier games on their schedule than Cincinnati.
Yeah, but it's not
It's at
anytime
home.
soon. It's
Yeah,
not
I know,
anytime
and they might
soon.
be 0-5 or
Yeah.
0-8 by then,
Yeah.
whatever. Okay. Yeah, I'm going with the Cats. My headline is Help Wanted. Running backs and wide receivers apply. I don't know anything at all about this group. I know Jerry Jeudy has had an up and down career so far, but if I had to put him in a bin, I would say he's been an underachiever so far. And running backs, I think Jerome Ford has been an underachiever. How are you going to beat the most prolific offense in football if you've got a wide receiver running back combo room that by most experts ranks 32nd in the NFL? I just don't see it. I think it'll be a 27-10 victory for the Bengals. Mike.
In mine, sadly, I'm with you guys. I can't pick the Browns in this as much as I want to. I had Burrowed in the Battle of Johio. Burrows to
that.
Tiggins. Late gives Cincinnati the lead, and Flacco's game-winning drive attempt stalls at the 15. But the Browns cover, which is the most important thing here. So close, but I do think the Bengals take the victory.
Yeah, what was your final? Because it's a 5-point spread, right?
You didn't
I
have
had
the score there.
24-19, opposite of G, Bengals winning.
Okay. Very interesting. Well, listen, enjoy the game. Hopefully we have a victory Monday, and we can talk about a 1-0 start instead of an 0-1 start. Enjoy the weekend. See you Monday.
Peace.